Dear student, it was a great joy to listen to Dr. Manthakar's lecture. The pursuit of everybody, every person in this world is to acquire, in fact, have a happy life. And he keeps on running here and there for happiness. Many times, students do not know where the happiness lies. He tries to listen to music, go to movies, and have entertainment, and thereby he thinks that he is getting happiness. But definitely, for many students, sitting in a classroom and listening to a teacher is definitely not a happy moment. Today, Dr. Manthakar has told us a story. In fact, I would call it a story or a poem through which he has narrated how learning can be made joyful. So students, after listening to his enlightening lecture, let us have interaction. So I keep this session open for interaction.
I will be very happy to answer the queries of the student. I consider myself as a student. One is a lifelong student. Any successful person on earth is a lifelong learner. So we are all students that way. So it would be very good to share with you whatever I know about this. As I told you that this is one of the very sought after areas. Last 20 years, very active research is going in positive psychology. But I am from engineering background. When I was heading my department 3.5 years. Students were coming to me asking questions, sir, we face this difficulty, we face that difficulty. See, there is dearth of teachers in India. Some teachers may not be very good. All those problems would be there. They will slowly become good because when I was students, there were very few teachers in the institute. So I joined teaching. Most of the teachers in our departments are students from that department. But most of them have completed their PhDs from IITs and they are accomplished researchers within a span of around 20 years. Our department is one of the respected departments in Maharashtra state and we are one of the autonomous colleges. I hope whatever I can share with you, I am ready to share.
Sir, as you said, that teacher and student goes as partners. Teacher is just a facilitator. And as per what Tiwari sir said right now, that students enjoy watching movies rather than attending the college. So what do you think is the reason behind this? Why is the lectures not make that entertaining, that the student, they can capture the attention of the student for that 30 minutes only?
The problem in India, the fast expansion of higher education. Very fast expansion of higher education has occurred. I had written a paper in '94. See, in 1 year, the engineering institutes in Maharashtra were 9. Next year, the number of engineering institutes in Maharashtra were 60 plus. See, 1 year, 83. So you had 9 engineering institute and immediately next year 60. So how to get the qualified teachers for such large number of students? Because that is the time when I entered in the education. And as is there in the society, so green pastures always get very good people. And the people who are using green pasture, they will become healthy. So good teachers many times are not coming to Mofussil places. So we had one very good teacher, I would name him, Professor T.K. Basu. He taught me in the final year and I never missed his lecture. So then I was getting the idea, see, it is possible to become a good teacher and not only that, a very difficult subject can be taught in such a manner that the student's imagination for 60 minutes can be captured. So that made me a teacher today. I found that time many students were not interested in attending the lectures. They were going to movies. But see, it's disposition. somebody does not like mathematical equations too much. So as I am from engineering background, this is difficult for me. Compared to this writing equations on the boards, a few equations and 1 hour goes away. So it was a heroic effort for me to put 40 minutes in this way. This way means where one is strong. So I am strong in engineering background, so I rejoice more there. Whereas I included this as a necessary component, as you told, because two things are there. It is not that only teachers are not good. Many times students are not understanding the benefits. Immediate feedback is not there. I remember 5 years before, after GATE in engineering, going to IITs is a craze. They should get entry into IITs for their post-graduation. So very few students from my department were going in IITs. This year, in only one specialization, that is microelectronics in IIT Mumbai, 4 of our students have gone. So I could create the interest in the students. That is an engineering subject, that is digital VLSI design, and I can show a mail in which all the things that they write. So I take feedback from the student. It is very important that instead of going to the movie, meet the teacher after the class and tell the teacher that, see, if you are teaching instead of this way, that way, it would be better for us. Actually, I changed the textbook suggestion on the students. The student said that, sir, instead of putting this as a textbook, you put this as a textbook. I said, agreed. It is your wish. But we must learn this subject. I cannot simplify too much the mathematical equations on the board. But I can definitely change the text according to the taste of the student. So teacher-student should come together. And they should build this ritual of happy learning. Then only it is possible for us to have a great future. I think we have definitely potential to become one of the developed countries in the world, because Indian students, when they are migrating to US with their education system, they are reaching sky limits. Most of the people who are successful in US, you will find out their proportion of India. So many Indian students who are that way average when they are in India, when they are migrating to US, are putting very good performance. So why that performance cannot be put in India? That's the question. I wish we should be able to do. I want to see it within my lifetime. That's why I put all this here.
This only gives, I think, the answer that the teachers over here are not able to take out the capability of a student which the teacher in the US is able to take it out. Or
No, 1 minute. It's not that case. That is not the only case. Look at the infrastructure that is available. The teacher. Look at the view of the society looking towards the teacher. It cannot be only teacher. Most of the time when this is the way the people think, teacher is one part of the system. Unless there is coherence, right? Unless there is coherence among all parts of the system, the total system cannot function. Teacher cannot put up proper classrooms. How many Indian institutions are not having good classroom? That's a subject of study. Physical facilities, that is also essential. The student should feel interested. He should get good meal as well. Getting sumptuous meal is not a bad thing. Why he should not get in institute canteen? That's the question. Right? This is a complex issue. This is a very complex issue, and most of the time when teachers come into the course, if powers are given and teachers are able to develop it, it's all right. I wish teachers should solve this problem, but I doubt only teachers can solve this problem. Because unless other elements, say administration of education is a big thing. When this massive expansion is taking place, is the benefit passed on to all the partners, stakeholders? So parents should visit quite regularly to the institutes and see what is the status. And if the infrastructure is not put up in time for the student, the government agencies should come and see to it that regulation, I think independent regulator is very much important. So that way, I cannot blame students as well. It's not that I don't want to blame students also, because students, if they are not, see, you are in a classroom where fan is not there. It's a summer day, very hot day. Teacher is really very interesting. How you are able to concentrate? This also is a problem. Apart from that, good textbooks. Now textbooks are really available in abundance and in very good quality. When I was student, that Integrated Electronics by Milman Halkias, I'm talking about, that was the only book, and we had to struggle to understand the English and all those things. But in the last 15-20 years, the availability of very good textbooks, I think across all disciplines, this university also makes a very good effort in preparing good textbook and all other. This exercise, I feel, need proper expansion and collaborative effort. The final answer to whatever we talk is a collaborative effort. All the stakeholders, they should come and they should feel pride that I will make whatever the effort that they are making successful. So it is possible to make joyful. Education is joyful, inherent, because a newborn rejoices while learning. So many failures will be there, but still he learns and keeps on learning. Right? Once he says, when his mother gives him food, when he asks for food, his intensity of putting effort decreases, because now ask for the food and you get the food. So that should not happen. That curiosity, childlike curiosity, we try to retain throughout our life. That will definitely lead us to very good educational experiences in our life. I think that should be the aim. That is what is positive psychology is talking about.
Dr. Manthakar, I have one question. It is said, or rather heard from many, that these days students are more exam-centered, exam-oriented than learning new concepts. So with this background, I mean, how a teacher can ensure that teaching or learning can be made joyful? Because most of the time students are worried about the exam, so they concentrate mainly on those topics and content which is related to exam and nothing more than that.
I think there is one problem. Unless the acquired skills he is not using and experiencing the joy in using it, he cannot do that. I think here only student's problem I can understand, but I think we should be able to evolve the procedures in which whatever the acquired skill is there, he is using, experiencing it, and for that he should get material benefit. I think the material benefit that he gets is one of the important things. And most of the time what is happening when he is learning, he don't know, it is difficult for him to know that when he will get a job and all those things. So that is creating a problem. So this is an issue, societal issue as well. And in many times in the scientific endeavors, whatever you do, immediate feedback is not possible.
Correct.
You don't know. You are doing a very small part in a big scheme, and you are not able to see the whole scheme. So in our area, I will tell you, MOSFET changed, revolutionized the way the computers are built. PJT was invented in 1947, and MOSFET technology is there behind all the computers that you use, but that was invented in 62. BJT was one of the byproducts while doing this. So around 30-40 years, people were trying to get MOSFET, voltage controlled switch. I think most of you are from computers, so you understand that voltage controlled switch, which minimized the power, and that led to the wide use of the computers. Many times it's not quickly addressed. Our society should try to see that the immediate feedback, if the acquired skills of the students is used and that student gets the experience that his skills are being honored, then he will feel more about going for skills rather than going for grades.
Do you think that any external tools like e-learning and all those can be an aid for teachers for teaching? How much they are helpful?
They are helpful. See, it was a dream for me to see Gilbert Strang, who is one of the eminent researchers, MIT professor. When I was studying, I could not see him. But today on the internet, on MIT OpenCourseWare, I get all his lectures, Introduction to Linear Algebra. And I know firsthand how he teaches. So we are connected with the world. I think this e-learning, video lectures and all those things, they have changed. See, the people I am talking about, the eminent positive psychologist, the Tal Ben-Shahar of Harvard University, then Professor Martin E.P. Seligman. You go on internet, go enter into the TED Talks, you will be able to listen to them, their lectures. Then Barbara Fredrickson, she works on emotions. All these great people. See, when you are watching them performing, the students should feel that they should be able to perform that way. Great engineers talking, great doctors, they are talking to the new doctors. They should get the ambition to set high goals, and many people are setting the goals high. They are acquiring those skills. They are successful. In independent India also, on the people who are successful from IIT Kharagpur, I did my PhD from IIT Kharagpur. There is a book called Game Changers. The people who have succeeded and become very successful. Their experiences are there. Somebody is working on solar technologies. He has industry in Bangalore. So many people are there. I think getting good examples and some concepts. I'm teaching in the classroom and students are not able to get it. I understand. No? So I can now turn to the e-tools and try to listen to NPTEL, that is National Program for Technology Enhanced Learning is available. All the subjects are available. Students are listening to them and they are required. Now a student is at a distant place is not a disadvantage at all through these e-tools. Otherwise that was a really very big disadvantage in the earlier times.
Sir, as Tiwari sir said that for student exam, they have to look at the exam. So similarly for teachers also, completing the syllabus, completing the portion stops them for being creative. Like there are many creative things which they can do in class to help make learning better. But then the time constraint, the time slot stops them from doing that.
We have to learn how to use time. In this series, there is a lecture, I think lecture number 9. I have kept for this, how to efficiently use time. It's possible. We have to structure our time. Most of the time what we are doing, without planning we are entering to do it. With planning if we are entering, then see, total success may be eluding. But the degree to which I can stick to my plan will definitely decide. See to it that you plan something, and if you are not able to stick to that plan, you change the plan.
Yes.
So that the plan becomes little relaxed and you become a little rigorous, so that this matching occurs. And every 6 months you should do time quality log. I do in my life this as well. For 1 week or 2 weeks, from when you are awake in the morning till you sleep, what you are doing, just log the activities, and you will find that I have found many times that I feel that I give importance to this, and when I see the time log, I spend least time on the important thing. Same thing happens with the student. His aim is to excel in the studies. Because he feels bored, he is going to movie 3 hours. He can take a cup of coffee or tea with his 10 minutes and again start studying. And after completing this much of syllabus, he should now go for a movie. This way he can transfer structure. So that way time use will be there. And something which is not in our control, I think we have to leave. Which is in your control, try to see that you are restructuring within that. You will have some good experiences. And then once you are disciplined, see, you can influence the teachers, you can influence the elders in the institutions. I have experienced this. So when my students demand, sir, we want this, no, this way, I definitely give in to them, provided they are working to the benefit of me as well as their own career development. So this we have to adapt. Autonomy is stressed because of this. In autonomous institutions, I can now every year change the syllabus, change the structure of the delivery. So that is possible. So I am rejoicing in teaching in autonomous institute, that I can tell you. Some of the part. But others, systemic change is essential. Systemic change is essential. And there's a very big issue I cannot address. Powers that be can address. I am not that power that be. I am one of the spokes in the big wheel. So I am trying to do my best.
So as you said, there are actually some schools who have IB syllabus, IB board, they teach in that manner, in that fashion, interactive boards and everything. But then again, for parents to afford the fees, that becomes a problem. So there are some institutes in India, but then the cost does matter. Not everybody can afford those schools.
I'll give you an example from US. In US, there was a teacher called Marva Collins. Have you heard her name? She used to teach to the students who were from the inner city. Their inner city means underdeveloped areas. Means the last chance to educate was Marva Collins schools. If that person is not succeeding in Marva Collins schools, then he will be on the streets. That way the case was there. And what was motivating her to get that school running? The spark in the eyes of the students. She was devising new ways. She was offered very good positions in US education department. She did not go. She wanted to have the good experience of teaching, learning. And all these students were taught by her. And the cost of education was not that high. She improvised. The best taught schools in the US and Marva Collins schools, the performance of the students was at par, but the cost was much less. And there are many experiments in India that are going on. I am taking the example from the Marva, this book, Happier book. There are many examples in India where such experiments are going on. In Konkan, there is a teacher called Renu Dandekar. She has written books on such schools as well. There are schools in Kerala. Good experiments are going on. And this is a very massive effort, no? At one end, in Bihar, you will find what happened in the last month, those things. If the money is not in the proper hands, then that money is wasted. And there are other places where the will is there and money is not there. I think unless this match, and as I told you, this is in the hands of the powers that be. I don't want to be very critical of any factors. Let's be students and teacher here only. Because once we indulge into some other statement, it has some other implications. But is it that the government of India does not have money? Definitely it has. Was that the government had not passed on the money? But the better learning experiences which were to be given to the students, the agencies which were giving it, they were malfunctioning. Are there students now, students who are catering to such needs? If they are coming forward, why they go for the pleasures in the metros only? Is there no pleasure in teaching? See, I learned in a Jilla Parishad High School, and the nearest bus stop from my school was 4 kilometers. That did not stop me to become PhD from IIT Kharagpur. That did not stop me from acquiring the proficiency in whatever I do, engineering discipline in which I am teaching there. Or see, this is something which is of my interest, because I wish all the students should acquire these things by structuring their studies. This is teacher plus students come together. Dearth of money in independent India, I feel it is artificial. Dearth of money is not there. Only proper agencies. I have taught to the students in Nanded, 12th students who are prepared for CET. The then district collector, Dr. Shrikar Pardeshi, had summer camps, 45 days summer camps for the students, and I did, without any charge, I was teaching them. But attendance was a problem. A bureaucrat is doing very good work. So, means students were attending, but we have to many times say them, this is important. It means from parent side, from agency side, so everywhere this coherence should be there. Question is, where the bureaucrats are putting very good efforts, is the society giving equal response in measure? And if these two are there, bureaucrats plus, is the political will there to sustain those efforts so that, this is a very complex issue. I think this cannot be answered in one session or, but if many students in India are thinking on these lines, the possibility that a creative solution will emerge in a very short time, that is there. So I think many students should think in this fashion and come with creative solutions. So we should be solution creators rather than, see, talking about the problem. See, I can talk throughout my life problems. See, we that time in our ZP schools, dearth of mathematics teachers was there, dearth of English teachers was there. I see today you go to any ZP school, that may be the situation. But if you had a harp with those things, it would have been difficult. Young minds should come together, devise a solution. Say, in 6 days, one day you keep for yourself, one day you keep for something which is giving you pleasure and meaning. So other 5 days will be really very enjoyable. And that 6th day also will automatically become enjoyable. That means all 7 days will be holidays for you. There is no work.
Now we'll take the last question and then we'll...
Sir, what I feel is that teaching is an art. Like, not everyone can teach, because the students, their interests vary. Some students are interested in one subject, the other students are interested in some other subject. But if the teacher is good, if the teacher has got that art of teaching, they can grasp the concentration of student. This is what I feel. So, while hiring teachers, when the colleges, institutes, when they hire teachers, do they check how they can teach? Are they capable of teaching properly?
We check.
Because no, sir, like I come from a village, I come from Pimpalgaon town. And while I was doing my BCS over there, we didn't have any tuitions. So we had to depend on our professors, on our teachers. But one of our professor in the last year, she taught us TCS subject, Theory of Computer Science. And we were fully dependent on her. Whatever she taught is the right thing. And we learned that, and when we went for the exams, frankly telling you, only 2 students were cleared in the final year. One got grace in that subject and other was TK. That person came from city and maybe have joined tuition, so that person passed. But everyone else failed. And then we had to come to the city and we had to join tuitions for that. And when we learned that subject in the tuitions, that time we got to know what exactly it was. So whom should we blame? Like, is it we who lacked in our studies, or is it the teacher who taught us totally like wrong? So what about such teacher? Or is it that villages and towns are just ignoring, like they are just taking anyone who are in need of job?
It's a really complex issue. Really complex issue. I have sat on the boards where teachers are selected. I did not allow anything, means it was all fair. And see, most of the teachers, we are short of teachers. Regular teachers are 15, and we hire every year 15 teachers in our department. And those 30 together teach to the, means 50% we have. Now, my experience with the new teachers is very good. Very good. See, most of them tend to end up in doing MTech in IIT. So, but I should not stress on this topic only. What you is the question? Even if the institute is, I know a few institute in which they are trying to get good teachers. They are not able to appoint the teachers because they are not getting good students. This is the case. And most of the time, good people are trying to go to the metros. So the problem that you faced is in Mofussil areas. Some problems will be there in getting good teachers. So the solution was there in the earlier. So that's fixed. See, IT people are working for 5 days. If some of the IT people think that 6th day, if they have earned enough in their lives, should put time. And see, one such subjects can definitely be covered by an enthusiast. And such societal efforts are essential. Such societal efforts are essential, in my opinion. Just appoint. See, if you are not getting qualified teachers, you can turn to e-learning tools. That's one of the ways. But the classroom experience of teaching a teacher can never be replaced, and you wish that to have for everybody in India. I share your concern. I share your concern. I wish that should happen. That is your dream, that is my dream. But ensuring is a complex issue.
Actually, because there are many IT people or many such students who try in the other companies for job, but when they fail, they end up in becoming a teacher. This is what I have experienced, like I've seen. So their last option is getting into college for doing the lectureship.
They were qualified?
Yeah, they are qualified, but they don't
They
find
had
jobs.
acquired the degrees?
Yes.
They had not enjoyed the education. They had not enjoyed the education.
No, what I want to say is that when they end up becoming a lecturer, then what do the colleges see in them? Like, do they have that capability of teaching the students?
They have the acquired degrees.
Just
Whatever we are talking.
so, sir, my question was ki just having degree is enough to become a lecturer. Like, if they cannot teach, if they cannot convey what they want to teach to the students,
That's
like
not
to the
enough.
students.
But most of the education institute, to get the accreditations on the roll, they need to appoint the teachers. But now you are addressing the real issue. The real issue is the person is getting the degree without acquiring the skills. Now you tell me, you are not happy with that person. Do you feel that person is happy with himself? That person is also not happy with himself. It is very difficult for him to get the pay. And such situation persists. Such situation should not persist. If that person had thought that, see, someday I need to go before the students, or someday I need to talk on the subject that I have learned, and prepared himself properly, this situation would not have arisen. I think on record I want to say this much.
Ultimately, the students have to suffer because, like, they trust the teachers what they teach them. And if the teacher are not able to teach properly, then what's the use like of the student attending the
Students
college?
should
That's
be
why they are
curious.
ending up joining private
Students should
tuitions.
I disagree with you. Students should be curious. Students should be curious. If something is not taught properly in the classroom, the student should have the guts to go to the board and teach the correct things, and the teacher should know that what he is teaching is wrong. Unless that transparency comes, we cannot be really progressive. And the student should not be hounded for the behavior that he has done in the class. That much I can say on record. Sometimes the students are getting hounded. That should not happen. And who will protect them? So the real situation is adaptive, and solution is really very adaptive.
Thank you, Dr. Manthakar, for your bold statement. Now we come to the end of this session, and we are looking forward to your further lectures. Thank you.
Thank you.